As you know, Memorial Day began right after the Civil War, and it was for a while called Decoration Day because devout women from the South were out putting flowers on the graves of their soldiers who died. And some graves of the Northern soldiers were nearby. And so they decided to go over and put flowers on the graves of the Northern soldiers as well. They had been enemies in the war, but now they were realizing that both sides suffered death in their families, their sons especially. And so they were sympathetic and put flowers on their graves. Word of that started to spread up to the North. And they became very well that the South was willing to establish a brotherhood. And so the generals of the Army declared this day in May to be Memorial Day, in which we would remember all the dead of the Civil War. Today we've had a number of more wars since the Civil War, in which our nation has lost thousands and thousands of women and men in death. War is a terrible thing. Sometimes it becomes necessary if someone is so attacking people in the world that they must be stopped, but it should always be the last resort, according to the just war theory. Our readings today, St. Peter in the first reading talks about how important our faith is in Jesus Christ. The genuineness of your faith, more precious than gold, may prove for praise and glory and honor of Christ. It's so important for us to realize that is our greatest gift. And what did Jesus say? I came into the world to bring peace. When he rose from the dead, he constantly, his greeting to the apostles were, peace be with you. Peace be with you. If we want to have peace, we have to work for justice. So many wars that break out, so many contentions, even within communities and in families, come out because there's an act of injustice. Someone is doing something wrong towards another, and anger comes up, and then war and conflict and revenge come up. And Jesus is saying that if we want peace, we have to work for justice. So we need to start with ourselves. The hymn, Let There Be Peace on Earth, says, let it begin with me. If we can begin with peace in our own homes, in our own parish, in our own community, where dissensions can arise. But if we immediately work for peace, we're contributing toward the peace in the world. And so today we thank God for the bravery of soldiers who have died for our peace. We pray for them that they have eternal peace and joy in God's kingdom. We pray for the consolation of their families. And we pray to the Lord to help us establish peace throughout the world. In this Mass, we remember that Jesus gave his life on the cross so that he might overcome sin and death. Most sin involves injustice. When sin is eradicated, there can be peace. And so we ask the Lord in this Mass, as we receive the gift of reconciliation and receive the gift of his body and blood, that our lives may be the kernel, perhaps, of creating peace in our world. Let us stand now and offer our prayers and petitions.